So, a very good afternoon to all my dear students and welcome to Online Ventures by Exampur SSC and Railway Exams YD channel. Most welcome to the class, most welcome to the session. I request you all to please quickly connect with me so that I can start the proceedings for today. Everyone, I request you all to please quickly join the session so that I can start the proceedings for today. So, in today's class, we are going to discuss one of the important topics of the Indian polity, and it's all about the fundamental rights. So I will be covering this topic in 2 and 3 parts. So today it will be a, you can simply say, a introduction sort of thing in this particular session. So I first of all request you all to please quickly connect with me and also share the session with your friends so that maximum people can come and enjoy the session, all of you. So good afternoon to all. Welcome to the session, welcome to the class, most welcome to the session. Okay. So first of all, those people who are live on the session and who have not subscribed our online benches by Exampur SSC and Railway YT channel, please do it. This is exclusively for the English medium students, so please do it on the priority basis. And before I proceed further, I would like to simply remind you all the SSC and Railway exams in English medium. Daily class timetable is as follows: 7 a.m. current affairs, which I used to take every day from that is Monday to Saturday. 9 a.m. we have general science by Dr. Jubair Ehsani sir. 10:30 a.m. we have vocabulary with Nitin Mishra sir. 12 p.m. we have English with Nitin Mishra sir. 2 p.m. we have GKGS. It is with me, Chandan Raushan. 5 p.m. you have mathematics with Dipendra Singh sir. 6 p.m. you have reasoning with Sonal ma'am. And finally at 7 p.m. you have GKGS with Praval sir. What you need to do is that you need to subscribe the channel and also press the bell icon for all the upcoming sessions notification. So guys, let's begin the today's class, today's session. You see, when you talk about Indian Constitution, there are three important things that is mentioned in our Constitution. One is the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights. What are fundamental rights? You will simply say these are the most basic and essential rights, most basic and essential rights, which are must for a citizen and are always enforceable in the court of law. It simply means one thing: those rights which are basic, which are essential, and which cannot be abridged or which cannot be taken away by any of the government authority or by the state, they are supposed to be the fundamental rights. And suppose if any authority or the government authority or the state try to encroach the fundamental right of any citizen, or try to, you can simply say, interfere into the exercise of the fundamental rights of any citizen living within the territory of our country, then those citizens whose fundamental rights have been encroached or have been violated can directly move to the High Court as well as the Supreme Court. And this particular thing is called as the enforceable in the court of law. So if the question comes, what do you mean by the term enforceable in the court of law? It simply means, or it simply indicate one thing: in case of the violation of any of the fundamental rights which is mentioned in the part 3rd of our constitution from article 12 to 35, that can be easily challenged in the course of violation directly to the Supreme Court or to the High Court. You can simply remember one thing: in case of the violation of the fundamental rights using article 32, Supreme Court has been given the constitutional power to issue the writs. Supreme Court has the power to issue writs in case of violation of fundamental rights. And Article 226 empowers High Court of our country, High Court of a state, within its jurisdiction to issue writs for the restoration of fundamental rights. So Article 226 can be used by the High Court and 32 can be used by the Supreme Court. Remember one thing, fundamental rights have been borrowed from US Constitution, US Constitution and is mentioned under Part 3 of our Constitution. Under Part 3 of our Constitution from Article 12 to 35. So from Article 12 to 35, we have the which one you can say fundamental rights mentioned. And remember one thing, the fundamental rights have been mentioned in the Part 3rd of the Constitution of India, and Article 12 to 35 deals with it. The concept of fundamental rights have been borrowed from the Constitution of which one you can say USA. And remember one thing, when our Constitution was made, during the making of our Constitution, or when our Constitution came into enforce, there were 7 fundamental rights. But by the 44th Amendment Act 1978, which was carried out by the Janata Party government, and remember one thing, Janata Party government was the first non-Congress government in India. It was the first non-Congress government in India. And remember one thing, by the 44th Amendment Act of 1978, by the 44th Amendment Act of 1978, which was done by Janata Party government, right to property, which one you will say, right to property was deleted from the Constitution, and instead of fundamental right, this was declared as the legal right, and it was put under which one you can say Article 300A of the Constitution. So please do remember one thing, under Article 300A of the Constitution, you have to remember one thing, the right to property, which was originally a fundamental right, was converted into a legal right. So remember one thing, if the question comes initially there were how many fundamental rights mentioned in our Constitution, you will say there were 7 fundamental rights. But after the 44th Amendment Act of 1978, when right to property was amended and was declared as the legal right, there were 6 fundamental rights. Right to equality, this is right to equality from Article 14 to Article 18, we have right to equality. Right to freedom, this is Article 19 to Article 22. Right against exploitation, we have 2 articles, Article 23 and to Article 24, that is right against exploitation. Right to freedom of religion, Article 25 to 28 deals with the right to freedom of religion. Cultural and educational rights, we have 2 important articles, Article 29 and 30. Then we have right to property was deleted, that is Article 31A 1BC, and then we have right to constitutional remedies, this is Article 32. Am I clear to you all? Please respond to me. So if the questions comes at present, how many fundamental rights do we have in our Constitution mentioned, you will see there are 6 fundamental rights in our Constitution. The first is right to equality, second is right to freedom, third is right against exploitation, fourth is right to freedom of religion, fifth is cultural and educational rights, and the sixth one is right to constitutional remedies. Right to equality is 14 to 18, right to freedom is 19 to 22, right against exploitation is Article 23 and 24. This Article 23 prohibits trafficking of human being and also prohibits the begar, and 24 is the prohibition of child labor. Right to freedom of religion. Each and every citizen of this country, according to Article 25, has the fundamental right to profess, practice and propagate religion of its own choice. It means no one can compel you to follow a religion of their choice. It is our choice. It is our, you can say, conscience. It is our freedom of conscience, according to which the Article 25 empowers we all citizens that we have the freedom to decide as per this constitution of our country. And remember one thing, if you want to convert from one religion to another religion, if you want to believe in the ideology of some other religion, no one can compel us to do so. It's completely our conscience, it's completely our freedom, it is completely our sovereignty. No one can interfere into it. Cultural and educational right, that is Article 29 and 30. It, under this rights come the minority institutions, and then we have writs, all the 5 writs of the constitution, that is habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari and quo warranto. This is mentioned under Article 32 of the Indian Constitution. Am I clear to you all? Please reply to me. Please respond to me. Everybody, please go ahead. All of you, please respond to me. Please reply to me. All clear? All done? Constitutional remedies simply means, Robin, if any of the fundamental, what is the meaning of remedy? Remedy means उपचार. आप उपचार कब करते हो किसी चीज का? When you get hurt of it. So if any of the fundamental rights mentioned in the part 3rd of our constitution is encroached by any of the government authority or is encroached by any of the state authority, then in that case we can directly go to the Supreme Court through Article 32 for the issue of the writs. Am I clear to you? Remember one thing, Article 12 is what? Article 12 basically gives the definition of state. So remember one thing, state is defined under the which one you can say Article 12. According to the Article 12, the state includes the government and the Parliament of India and the government and the legislature of each state. So what is state? Here state simply means union government as well as the state government. So if the question comes, what is the exact definition of the state under Article 12? You will say government and the Parliament of India and government and the legislature of each of the state, and also it includes the local or other authorities within the territory of India or under the control of the government of India. So we can say Parliament along with the union government, state legislature along with the state government, and remember one thing, local bodies, all these 3 entities comes under the definition of state. So all these 3 comes under the definition of state as per Article 12. Am I clear to you? Second important thing, Article 13 says that any law which has been made by the constitution of this country, if it is inconsistent, it means if it is not compatible, if it hurts the basic structure, if it violates any of the law of our constitution, that should not be declared void or that should not have the legality. So any law which is or any amendment which is done through Article 368 of the constitution, and through that amendment, if you make any new law, if you come up with the new law, and if that law is not compatible with the existing law of the country, and if it hurts the basic structure, what is the basic structure? I have told you in the chapter of preamble. Basic structure means when you make the law, and if that new law is basically encroaching the words like sovereignty, democratic, republic, integrity, so, then we can equality, fraternity. If such words are heard, then simply remember one thing, that will be considered as the violation of the basic structure of the constitution. Am I clear to you? Now comes the right to equality. This is from Article 14 to 18. Right to equality is from Article 14 to 18. What is Article 14? Article 14 is equality before law. It says that the state here means the government, whether it is central government or the state government, shall not deny to any person equality before the law or the equal protection of the law within the territory of India. The Article 14 says for every citizen, it means if any citizen of our country violates any of the law, violates any of the rule, and if there is a trial going in the court, you cannot discriminate against any person based on the religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. The Article 14 says that no one is above the law, everybody is governed by the law, and in the eye of the law, each and every citizen is equal, and none of the citizen can be differentiated, and none of the citizen can be differentiated. Am I clear to you all? Please tell me. So Article 14 clearly says one thing, it clearly explains one thing, everybody is equal in the eye of law and he or she shall not be discriminated. That is the Article 14. Everybody is equal in the eye of law. So whenever there is a court trial, and during the court trial, you have to simply understand one thing, it is completely a guideline by the Constitution to all the judicial activists that please do adhere to one thing, you cannot discriminate while giving the judgment because everyone is equal in the eye of the law. Now Article 15 is very interesting. This is the prohibition of discrimination. Our Constitution says that we should not discriminate between any two individuals on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. So these are the 5 grounds on the basis of which we need to prohibit the discrimination. Which are those 5 grounds? Religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth. The state shall not discriminate against any citizen on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or the place of birth, or any of them. No citizen shall on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or place of birth, or any of them, be subjected to any disability, liability, restrictions, or condition. This is the Article 15. So this is clearly says, so if the question comes that the abolition of discrimination has been mentioned in the which article of the Constitution, you will simply say it's the Article 15. And Article 15 says that we should not discriminate against any citizen on the basis of religion, race, caste, sex, or the place of birth. This must be kept in mind and this must be borne in mind. But remember one thing, Article 15(3) clearly says that this article shall not prevent the state, that is the government, from making any special provision for the advancement of women and children. What do you mean by this? It clearly says Article 15(3) it is the prerogative or the privilege of the government that if they want, then they can make some special provision. They can make some special provision for the advancement of which one, you can say women as well as the children. So Article 15(3) is all about special provision for the upliftment and for the development of which one, you can say women and children. But remember one thing, if the state or the government makes any law in favor of the women and children, you cannot go and challenge this law in the court of law saying that it's the discrimination, because you are only making the law for the favor of women and children and you are not making the law for the advancement of the men. Because I must tell you, since from the ancient times, women and children have been subjected to which one, you can say violation. They have been subjected to social abuse. They have been subjected to suppression. And that is why this provision has been kept under Article 15(3) for the purpose of the empowerment of women as well as the children. Am I clear to you all? Please respond to me. All of you. Please do tell me about that. Now comes the Article 16. Article 16 clearly says about the equality of opportunity in the matters of public employment. What is public employment? That is the government job. There shall be equality of opportunity for all the citizens in the matters related to the employment or appointment to any office under the state. So while making appointment to any of the government offices, there should be equality of opportunity. That simply means one thing, you cannot discriminate while providing the opportunity of employment on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, descent, place of birth, or you can say residence. It simply means one thing, कि the equality of opportunity in the matters related to public employment cannot be denied based on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, descent, place of birth, or of residence. So based on these grounds, you cannot deny the opportunity of employment. It is not always there that male will be given the preference as compared to the female when it comes to government job. It's not that people who belong to Gujarat and Maharashtra will be given preferences in the government exams and other people will not be there. It is not that if the Hindus are in majority in this country, so only Hindus will be given the preference for government jobs and not the other communities. You cannot provide that the people who are white skinned should be given the preference. That is called the race discrimination. It's not that the caste discrimination will be there. It's not that the only male will be taken into granted. Then we have place of birth. I have already told you if you are born in Delhi, so it doesn't mean you will be given the preference in the central government examination. And if you are born in Bihar or Jharkhand or you can say Odisha or Chhattisgarh, you will not be given the preference in the central government exam, in the central government job. So it is clearly written in the Article 16. The Article 16 try to give equal opportunity to all the citizens in the matters of public employment, especially in those jobs which are in the government. It is not applicable for the private sector job. It's not applicable for the private limited companies. It is only applicable in case of the government jobs. That is why it is told under Article 16, you cannot deny, you can say, opportunity of employment based on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, descent, or descent here means what? It's not always that the son of the judge will be judge. It's not always that son of an IS will be IS, daughter of an IS will be IS, daughter of politicians will only go to the higher jobs. It's not like that. So such things must be avoided, and we must put aside the religion, the race, the caste, the sex, the descent, the place of birth or residence in order to provide equal opportunity in the matters of public employment. Am I clear to you all? Do you have any doubt, any problem, any query? You can simply ask it to me. All of you, please go ahead. Then comes Article 17, which talks about abolition of untouchability. What is untouchability? It is a social evil practice. It is a practice which is done in the society in order to keep the socially and educationally backward people away from the upper class, away from the elite class of the society. This is called untouchability. I must tell you one thing, why in the countries like India we have the prevalent practices of untouchability. It is only because of one factor, it is only because of one reason, that we don't have much literacy, we don't have much awareness, and that is why the practice of untouchability is at its peak. Please try to understand one thing. Also remember one thing, untouchability is a punishable offense according to the law. And I must tell you, Kerala, which is considered to be the most literate state in India, and despite having the highest literacy, you will be surprised to know in the state like Kerala, we still have the prevalence of untouchability at the higher rate. So what is the meaning of this literacy? Do you know, in India we are literate but we are not educated. The time has come where you need to be educated in order to end the evil practices of which one you can say untouchability. Because still in Kerala, you will find that the upper class Hindus don't allow the, you can say, socially backward classes to have the bath in, you can say, common pond. They are not allowed to fetch the water from the well. They are not allowed for the temple entry. They are still prevalent. But still, this is a great slap on our face that despite we are in the 21st century, we are still practicing these evil things like untouchability, and we need to overcome. Am I clear to all of you? Please respond to me. Please reply to me, everybody. Now comes the Article 18. Article 18 basically discusses about or talks about the which one? Abolition of titles. No title, not being a military or academic distinction, shall be conferred by the state. It is completely mentioned in the article. It is completely mentioned in the article. Only those those titles can be awarded by the government which you have achieved by serving in the military or which you have attained by through the academic distinction. For example, if you are a PhD holder, you will be given the title of doctor. If you are an MBBS, you will be given the title of doctor. If you are serving on the rank, if you are serving on the, in the Indian Air Force or Navy or the Army, and you are on a reputed post, then you can be given a military rank, and that you can use before your name. So only remember one thing: two titles are accepted and two titles are authenticated by the law to be given to the citizen or to be conferred by the government to the citizen of this country if it is of military distinction or it is of academic distinction. Other than military and academic distinction, no other titles can be awarded to any citizen of this country by the respective government, whether it is state government or by the union government. Is this point clear to you? So remember one thing: as per our constitution, article number 18, only two titles are validated, only two titles are authenticated, and only two titles have been declared legal. Which are those? Military distinctions and the academic distinctions. Please do understand that. No citizen of India shall accept any title from any foreign countries. Remember one thing: even the Indian citizens are not allowed to accept any title which is given by the foreign countries. And no person who is not a citizen of India shall, while he hold any office of profit or trust under the state, except without the consent of the president, accept any title from any foreign state. In fact, the Article 18 subclause 3 says, if you are a foreign resident, if you are a foreign citizen, foreign resident, and you are residing in India and serving on any of the on the board of trust of any of the organization, and in that case also, if your government, if your country of origin is trying to award you with some title, and if you are residing in India, then at that point of time, unless until the president of this country does not grant you the permission to accept or receive the title, you cannot do that. So this is applicable in both the cases. In order to receive any of the foreign title while living in India, the prior permission or the consent of the president is must, or the permission of the president is required. Without the permission of the president, no foreign titles can be accepted by the Indian citizen and also by any of the foreign citizen who are residing in India. Am I clear to you at this point, or do you still have any problem? Please do tell me. So this is Article 18. This is Article 18, which talks about abolition of titles, which is talking about the abolition of titles, which clearly says कि no citizen residing in India can accept any title, from the foreign citizen or by the foreign government without the consent of the president of the country. Am I clear to you? So this is about the right to freedom. Now in the tomorrow's class, we will discuss about some other rights as well. So before I end the class for today, you are advised to subscribe our online benches by Exampur, SSC and Railway Exams YT channel in English medium for such sessions and for such YT classes. So those friends of you who are not aware of it, please do let them know and ask them to subscribe this particular channel for the English medium content. And also remember one thing: on this channel of online benches by Exampur, which is SSC and Railway Exams in English medium, the daily class timetable are as follows: 7 a.m. current affairs by me, that is Chandan Raushan. 9 a.m. we have general science by Jubair sir. 10:30 a.m. vocabulary with Nitin Mishra sir. 12 p.m. English with Nitin Mishra sir. 2 p.m. GK and GS with me. 5 p.m. mathematics with Deependra sir. 6 p.m. reasoning with Sonal ma'am, and 7 p.m. GK and GS with the Prabal sir. So what you need to do is that you need to press the bell icon and subscribe our channel as soon as possible. Thank you so much, guys. Love you all. See you tomorrow. Till then, have a great evening ahead. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks a lot.